Hello everyone, it's Terry. Welcome back to my channel. I was just finishing up some dinner, a little bit of what is it? Green beans, spicy, sauteed or stir fry, whatever, and then beef and pea pods. But nonetheless, full on that. But today I got this in the mail from an eBay seller that has, eBay seller from Florida, Sarasota, Florida. I won't say the name, but he has sort of a, I don't know what to say. It's an iffy reputation. I'll just say that. And in my experience, I've had some duds, but I've also got some gems. This is one of the gems, I would say. This came to me as a bare root. Definitely a division. Noticed upon arrival that it has a sheath on it, and when I feel it, it does feel like it's bumpy, which does not mean that it's going to produce flowers or anything like that. My dilemma, more or less, is how to pot it up, because as you can see, the older canes are down here, and as the canes, the newer canes are produced, it's kind of in an accordion fashion. Not an accordion fashion, but it's definitely a stepping fashion. So it's not really gonna be well in a pot. I mean, a deep pot, yes, but not normal pots that are wide. Something deep and thin would be perfect. And another thing about this plant, which I haven't even told you what it is, this is Epicatarthron Hilo Adventure. And I did have one of these much smaller, but it did bloom. The blooms are sequential on this plant. The blooms are fragrant. This hybrid is comprised of basically four bifoliates. As you can see, the growth is a bifoliate. It's about 25% Clandii, 25% Gutata, and then 25% Epistanfordianum, and then 25% a species that's called Diacrium, or Calarthum, I believe, Calarthum bicornutum. And that species is from Brazil and Trinidad and Tobago and maybe Guyana, but that plant gets its growth in the spring and the summer, I should say. And then as the canes mature, it puts up sheaths, and then the sheaths mature and bloom late fall into the winter. But the important thing about this plant is that while it is growing, it gets copious amounts of water. When it is has completed its growth, it gets basically nothing. That's what this plant likes. If it gets watered, it will be set back. Stanfordianum, which is another parent of this plant, Epidendrum, that species grows a similar way. When it starts to get its new growths, that is when you start to water it, as with most orchids, I suppose. But with Stanfordianum, it puts up its new growths, which mature, and then it wants to be dry. And then what Stanfordianum does is it doesn't bloom from the top, it blooms from the bottom, kind of in the fashion that Walkeriana does. It puts up its inflorescence from the base of a matured pseudobulb, and then it blooms in the spring after a long rest. So therefore this plant would be technically in a rest phase, being especially since it's in sheath and it's trying to bloom, which is its regular schedule. What I forgot to mention was the bicornutum has a very rich fragrance of Fruit Loops, strawberry. I mean, there's a lot of fruitiness to it. Lots of different, I guess it's a complex scent is what you would say, but it's very sweet. So it's very much a coveted plant. And Stanfordianum is fragrant as well. Like I said, I did have one that was much smaller, but it did flower. The flowers are beautiful, sequentially blooming, one after the other. So my point was, Well, in talking about this plant, another thing, the parents of the plant are, if I can remember it, well, I'm not going to be able to remember it, but I was watching a video today on YouTube, and it was, I think it's just one more orchid. Maybe that's the channel. And I fell in love with it instantly because she's in Florida. You know, she grows her orchids more or less, leaves them out there to survive on their own, although they are very well housed. You know, she pots them and mounts them up in the most beautiful homemade, handmade mounts and pots and containers that are all hanging, and it's just beautiful. And plus she's got her 4 dogs. Maybe there's 4 or 5, maybe there's more, but they're all so cute, and it's just amazing the things that she grows and the roots that she displays in her videos. But she showed this plant today, and it showed the name of the 2 parents that I can't remember right now, and she had a spike on it that had buds on it, and I knew it was this plant. And then I got this plant today. So, and she actually had this, I think it was potted up in one of her bottomless pots where the roots, maybe not, because I think it was sitting on a bench. Skip that. But that is what I'm thinking of. She makes these pots that are ceramic, or I don't know what they're made out of. I've looked at her site, but they're long and thin, and they have holders on them so you can hang them up. They have pots on the side, kind of in the fashion, well, no, those cool logs did not have holes in the side, but it's that sort of shape. And also, there's no bottom on the bottom, so the air is allowed to come through, the roots are allowed to go through. And I honestly can consider potting this up bare root, because it doesn't like anything in the winter. It likes copious amounts of water in the summer. So it probably would be better if it were in something skinny, so that the roots could just attach itself to that, whatever it was inside. So that's what I want to do. And so I'll probably just set this plant in the greenhouse and order one of those mounts, pots, from her site. And then I will put this in there, and hopefully it'll be okay. I'm sure it will, because I want to, hanging it up would be the best solution for it anyway, being that it is so big. But that was what I wanted to talk about today, and I'm actually doing it tonight. I'll probably post this in the morning. But this is another edition of An Orchid a Day, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, press the like button. Thanks for watching again. Bye.